Sukui Garibode. I'm Tal'kovi. Here over the last few months, we've had a lot of things going on that has pretty much, brought an impact to everybody's lives. And, not just mine, but many Mando'ade all across this world. For the most part, I've seen a lot of people getting desperate, doing a lot of desperate things, thinking irrationally about what they need to do or what they think they need to do. And within this culture of the Mando'ade, we don't need a bunch of people thinking irrationally and doing knee-jerk reactions to situations. The best thing in these situations that are taking place right now is to keep calm, be aware of your surroundings, and know what's going on around you at all times. For the most part, ever since everyone has known me, everyone has heard me preach self-sufficiency, self-reliance, and self-sustainability. These are simple things to attain, simple negotiating, get these things done. I've spent the better part of the last 15 years trying to do the best that I can for my family and to subsidize where I need to subsidize in order to make things happen. My wife, Meshla Trashin, has been the greatest influence and the greatest help in those areas. What I cannot get accomplished here or at the farm, I have had the greatest faith in my wife that she can take care of some of these things that I can't take care of while I'm not at home. So this is a part of my elite. My elite is on the same page. Sustain the clan, sustain the family, make the family, make the elite, the clan succeed. We both work our asses off doing this, and things can be done. Over the last 25 years that I have known the Worley family, we have worked together on the same page to attain a level of self-reliance, self-sustainability, and self-sufficiency. So this is becoming a negotiation, and that we come together to make things happen. We negotiate with others for things that we need. We negotiate and barter where we can barter services for something, or if someone needs something from us, we can provide a service or help them to do the same thing that we've been doing. So throughout this whole debacle that's going on, the rioting, the protesting, things have gotten a little bit hairy, and things are not looking good governmentally, especially in this nation that I call home. And as a Mando'ade, it's hard to not allow things to affect your lives when the lands that you live in as a Mando'ade affect you in more instances than you realize. Loss of jobs due to the coronavirus, bad economy, rioting going on. You don't know where you need to be, or don't know what you need to do in some situations. It can be frustrating, and it can make you think irrationally. I'm pleading with everyone to keep your calm, keep your cool. Understand that we, as Mando'ade, spanning the earth, living in many different nations around this globe, have a lot going on, some worse than others. But as Mando'ade, we're all brothers, sisters, comrade. And I call everyone within our culture brother. I'd stand and fight for this culture, for my family and your families. This is what Mando'ade do. This whole entire situation, I've seen individuals kind of go into panic mode, not knowing what to do. Throughout the last 15 years of being a Mando'ade, many of us elders that came in during the beginning of the culture helped to foster its growth. We've seen a lot of knee-jerk reactions from several clan leaders or community leaders vying for the position of Mandalore. And this is not, I repeat, not the direction that this culture needs to be going in right now. With the trouble that's going on, the panic mode that I've seen a lot of people going into, you need to buckle down. Look at what you have, take stock. And one of our cultural identifiers is the fact that we are ready for any situation should it arise. This means prepping to some extent. I don't like to use the term prepping because it is single-minded. Instead, I use the term self-sufficiency, self-reliance, and self-sustainability because it encompasses a whole spectrum of everything that you need to live and life. Not just for the moment, not just to prepare for 6 months, 7 months, a year down the road of having this stocked up. Self-sufficiency, self-sustainability, and self-reliance means that you have the ability to provide for an indefinite period of time, to protect what you have from others that's willing to take it from you by force or by other means, and the ability to use common sense to be able to know what you're doing. If you need electric, how to provide that for yourself if that becomes an issue. How to live without electric, which is not that hard. It's fairly simple. Being able to survive and sustain yourself in any environment. I'm fortunate enough to be a citizen of the United States of America. This land I call my home. And as a Mando'ade, I have to look at everything going on around me. So societally, Aliit'e society is complacently dependent. Lobbying in the government through legislation and regulatory actions have forced this upon the Aliit'e society. I cannot accept that as a Mando'ade. Not for my family, my clan, my elite. It's not acceptable. I write my congressman. I keep an open line of communication with my congressman to let them know things got to change. These things are killing this nation. It's going to be bad in the long run, eventually, if capitalism meets socialism. And that's basically where we're at now, when laws have to be, legislation has to be passed, regulatory actions have to be mandated in order to sustain that status quo of the conglomerations that cannot sustain their capitalist growth. So it's at that pinnacle where they have to take and enforce lobby legislations and regulatory actions from the politicians in order to do that. And that's where capitalism meets socialism. It forces complacency and dependency on people. And people have to learn to rise above that, adapt to that, work around it. And this is where I really have to drive this point. The Mandalorian culture does not need a Mandalore. Does not need to have someone trying to force their will upon us, because we will challenge that. No matter who you are, it will be challenged. The consensus is we do not need a Mandalore. What we need are strong Aliit'e. Sustained Aliit'e. Growing Aliit'e. Clans working together for self-sustainment, self-sufficiency, and self-reliance. Because without those things, our elite will fall. They will not be able to hold a strong foundation in this culture. Our Aliit'e are the foundation of this culture. They need to be strengthened, fortified into self-reliance, self-sustainability, and self-sufficiency. These are what Mando'ade need to be working towards. I sit and I look at everything going on around me, and the only thing I have to worry about is my surroundings. Everything else I'm not worried about, because I've done my part in my life for my clan and my family, my elite, to bring it to a self-sustainable, self-reliant, and self-sufficient operational capacity. This is what I'm imploring all Mando'ade to work towards. That way we can make our lives better for our clans and our families, and influence those around us to better their lives, whether they're Mando'ade or not. It's about leading by example. And after I get off with this, I've got a lot of congressmen and I've got a lot of state reps that I really need to start writing to. I've got some things that need to be said, opinions that need to be voiced, and hopefully some will listen, some I know won't, because they're too wrapped up in their lobby. But I definitely have a voice that needs to be heard, because I actually live in this country, the United States of America, and I love this country because it's my home. And as a Mando'ade, I will fight for it, protect my family, my clan, the Aliit'e as a whole. Which means I'm also honor-bound to protect and defend the Constitution of this constitutional republic, because what takes place here does ultimately affect us in one way or another. Mando'ade are adaptable. We improvise, adapt, and overcome. So we can live in any environment, under any situation. Most of us can. We need to work where we can work to make things better for everything going on around us, instead of thinking irrational thoughts, irrational actions. This is what we need to do. Try to make things better for the lands we live in, so that our culture can flourish and grow and thrive. Orivore for taking this time to listen to this long-winded conversation. Chate Tour. Wrecked for now. Koyashi.